Hey everybody, in this example we are going to solve this given equation, sine of x plus 3 pi over 4 plus sine of x minus 3 pi over 4 equals 1, and we're solving for x is between 0 and 2 pi, where we include 0 and not 2 pi, and this falls under the umbrella of the angle sum and difference identities, so we're going to use those identities in order to do this example. Now, the two rules that we're really going to look at are going to be sine of alpha plus beta and sine of alpha minus beta. So I'm going to write those two rules here on the side. So if I write down those rules on the side that I just mentioned, we'll have sine of alpha plus beta. And hopefully we have these kind of memorized at this point. So it's sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. And then underneath, I'll just write them separately. I do usually like to write them together, where I put plus minus over here, and then I would put plus minus over here. And then with cosine, I would put plus minus, and then I would put minus plus. But I'll list them separately this time. And sine alpha cosine beta minus cosine alpha sine beta. Now, alpha and beta are the same for both of these. So for alpha, I have x, and for beta, I have 3 pi over 4. So alpha is the same all around, and beta is also consistent. There we go. So we could already anticipate it's going to be a little bit lengthy, so I'm going to go a little lower, so if I have to fit it, and use more space, I'll be good to go with that. So everywhere I have an x, I'm going to use what I have for alpha, and everywhere I have a 3 pi over 4, I'm going to put that with the betas, because alpha is going to equal x and beta is going to equal 3 pi over 4. All right, so let's see. What are we going to write? We are going to do sine of, so for this one here, it's addition. We are following that identity. So we'll do sine of x cosine of 3 pi over 4 plus cosine of x sine of 3 pi over 4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little squiggle under it so we remember this whole thing goes with that whole thing. Okay? Then this one, let's do a pointy zigzag for that one. And that will go with this right here. There's the plus sign in between. So plus sign, I'm going to make it big and bold so we don't get confused which plus sign is which. And then we're going to follow that rule. So sine x cosine of 3 pi over 4 minus, because that minus, cosine x and sine of 3 pi over 4. And this will be our pointy zigzag. Oop, there we go. Equals 1. Now, before we even continue too far, we could actually cross out this and this, because we have a positive cosine x sine 3 pi over 4 and a negative cosine x sine 3 pi over 4. So that and that cancel out. Adios. And we'll have 2 of these. So I have a couple ways we could write it out, but I'm going to write it like this. So I'm going to write 2 sine x cosine 3 pi over 4. But people may have chosen to evaluate that first. I'm going to do that in this step. So what is the cosine of 3 pi over 4? Well, 3 pi over 4 is this angle over here in the middle of quadrant 2. And cosine is our x value over medium, up medium, so over to the left medium. That is negative square root 2 over 2. Sine x, can't do anything with that. It's still sine x. And then the 2 is still a 2. And what else can we do? We can reduce. These are being multiplied. So 2 on top and 2 on bottom reduces. So that leaves us with, this is not subtraction, it's multiplication. So negative square root 2 times sine x equals 1. From there, we just jumping over here. I'm going to divide both sides. So if I just scooch it up a bit, I'm going to divide both sides by negative root 2. And that leaves me with sine x equals, I always move my negatives to the numerator, so negative 1 over root 2. However, I'm going to rationalize and show my work. Maybe you could just do it in your head. That would be beautiful. That would be negative root 2 over 2. Now, remember, the directions are to solve. We are solving. So we are wondering the sine of what angle, x is representing an unknown angle, is equal to negative root 2 over 2 for x is between 0 and 2 pi. So where on the unit circle is the sine, which is your y value, equal to negative root 2 over 2? So down medium, down medium. It's that middle angle here and here. The angle's over 4. So that's going to be x equals, that was 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4. I'm seeing 5 pi over 4 is 1. That's 6 and 7. So 7 pi over 4 is the other. So our answers are right over there. 5 pi over 4 and 7 pi over 4. And that's all there is to it. So if you got that right, give yourself a high five and give the video a thumbs up. If you have a mistake in there, if you got stuck somewhere, got the wrong answer somehow, maybe you made it all the way down to the end and you just made one little mistake, put a thumbs down just so we know there was an error, and we'll do better on the next one. It's okay. But if you want to give it a thumbs up anyway because you're like, well, I think I understand it and I deserve it, then sure, give it that. But if you made a mistake, let me know by putting a thumbs down on it, all right? Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.